Chapter 274, The Extraordinary Power of Spiritual Power. This chapter is updated by Novels.pl. After nightfall, the yang-chi between heaven and earth had decreased to its lowest while the yin-chi penetrated gradually. Zhang Yuochen stopped practicing so as to prevent the yin-chi entering his meridians and affecting the power of sun meridian ripple. He took out the purple beast training crystal from his storage ring and placed it on the ground. The dazzling purple light shone a mystical color in the sky. A layer of purple splendor even reflected in the pool water. Zhang Yuochen summoned Kong Xuan, who was perceiving sword comprehension, to come over. He indicated for her to sit down and asked, "How's your perceiving?" Kong Xuan sat on the ground carefully. She crossed her slender legs and put her hands on her knees. She sat up straight, revealing her plumped chest and tiny waist. Specks of light appeared on a pair of multicolor wings behind her under the shining of the crystal. It was as if a seven-hued light rain was completely covering her tender body. Kong Xuan's voice was soft and sweet. She responded, "Master, I've perceived part of the sword comprehension. However, I think I need more time to reach the initial stage of sword following the heart." "Take your time." He pointed to the purple beast training crystal. He asked, "Do you know what this is?" "I have no idea." She answered, "This is a beast training crystal. It is extremely precious. With this crystal, warriors can affect the consciousness of a savage beast and control its mind, causing it kill their opponents." Zhang Yuochen continued, "It also carries another function, which is to test a warrior's spiritual power. Place your hand on the crystal. Try to open yourself up and feel the power of the crystal." Kong Xuan followed Zhang Yuochen's instruction. She rolled up her sleeves and exposed her snow-white arms. She stretched out her soft boneless hand and pressed on the surface of the purple crystal. She closed her eyes slowly, showing two attractive eyelids and tidy eyelashes. As one of the half-peacock humans, Kong Xuan carried an extraordinary sense of the aesthetic. She was indeed a shocking woman with exquisite facial features, smooth skin, and a slender figure. Zhang Yuochen wasn't focusing on her beauty but rather on the purple crystal. He nodded as lines began to appear on its surface. After a while, Kong Xuan opened her eyes. She retreated her palms and asked, "What's the level of my spiritual power, Master?" "Level 14, Zhang Yuochen replied. "Is that low?" Kong Xuan was nervous. Zhang Yuochen shook his head. He responded, "Generally, the older you are, the higher your spiritual power will be. However, if someone doesn't specifically practice spiritual power, they can only reach level 15 at most. When a normal person reaches adulthood, their spiritual power should reach level 10. Reaching level 12 is classified as a genius. You're indeed very outstanding by reaching level 14. But don't be overjoyed. Those who possess incredible spiritual power were at level 10 when they were born. At the age of 10, they will reach level 20. When they enter adulthood, they will reach level 30. Of course, in the last million years, there had hardly been anyone who possessed such incredible talent. According to Zhang Yuochen, he'd only said this to prevent Kong Xuan from being arrogant. Zhang Yuochen placed his own palm on the purple crystal and started testing his level of spiritual power. Bang! The crystal's splendor became stronger. It radiated throughout the entire practicing mansion. Fortunately, there were arrays set up in the practicing mansion. Otherwise, it would definitely have startled other students who were practicing. "You possess very strong spiritual power, Master." Kong Xuan was shocked. She gazed at Zhang Yuochen, who sat before her like a spirit. Her bright beautiful eyes exposed a sense of obsession. The splendor dispersed gradually, and Zhang Yuochen withdrew his palm. "What level have you reached, Master?" she asked. "Level 36. Zhang Yuochen didn't hide from Kong Xuan. "You're the genius in the genius who possesses such magnificent spiritual power, aren't you?" Kong Xuan exclaimed. "I guess." Zhang Yuochen smiled and said, "It's difficult to keep elevating my spiritual power as I reach later stages. With my current realm of spiritual power, it's going to be hard to increase even just one level. When someone reaches level 40, the power of spiritual power is revealed preliminarily. Those talents only need to make eye contact to control warriors of the heaven realm and turn them into puppets. Moreover, a person obtains magical abilities once they've reached level 40. For example, opening the sky eye, revealing life and death, summoning wind and thunder, and astrology. The so-called sky eye refers to the extraordinary spiritual power of the eye that appears on the globula. It allows warriors to look through a 100-meter deep mineral vein, reveals one's destiny, shows the hidden inscription of a ray, as well as the ghost spirits wandering between yin and yang. Revealing life and death means warriors can tell how many years a particular person gets to live by glancing at them. They can also tell exactly which day that person will die. Of course, accidents are not included. As for summoning wind and thunder, that is to call for thunder, wind, and rain through using spiritual power. The First Central Empire has set up departments of thunder, rain, wind and yin-yang. The chiefs of the Department of Thunder and Department of Rain are called the Master of Thunder and Master of Rain respectively. The chief of the Department of Wind is called the Master of Wind. Their major responsibility is to monitor the weather in the Kunlun's field, as well as manage the order of mysterious issues that ordinary warriors aren't aware of. Of course, they possess a strong personal ability. Kong Xuan was shocked. She asked, "Does that mean that they've all obtained a spiritual power of level 40 or higher?" Zhang Yuochen nodded, "Correct." "So, what does astrology mean?" He laughed. "Well, astrology is fairly mysterious. Rumor has it that it's linked to the sky above us. According to the deceased sages, the stars in the sky correspond to situations on Earth. By looking at the transformation of stars, constellations and zodiac signs, it can explain changes on Earth, or even predict major events in the future." "Really?" she asked. Zhang Yuochen shook his head. He responded, "I don't know. My spiritual power hasn't reached level 40 yet. I don't understand what the deceased sages were thinking and can't figure out the pattern of the stars. I don't even possess astrology abilities, so I can't answer your question." Kong Xuan said, "So they possess the sky eye and astrology, are able to reveal life and death and can summon wind and thunder when their spiritual power reaches level 40. What happens when they reach level 50? Zhang Yuochen answered, "If one's spiritual power reaches level 50, he'll become a saint. A saint can then live up to 360 years, several times longer than ordinary people." "Alright. I just wanted to let you know how important spiritual power is. The higher the spiritual power you obtain, the better you can perceive and practice sword comprehension and martial technique. Moreover, if you want to break through to the heaven realm, you need to elevate your spiritual power to level 20. In fact, Zhang Yuochen wanted to elevate his spiritual power up to level 40. However, it was very difficult, and the process of practice could not be rushed. He put away the beast training crystal, took out a dozen meters of white bone and placed it in front of Kong Xuan. The white bone was crystal clear and contained strong power of fire. It was like a blood jade pillar of interlocking canine teeth. It emitted a powerful beast aura. This is the backbone of a fire cloud wolf, a 4th level savage beast. Do you know what its function is? Zhang Yuochen asked. Hanzu shook her head. Zhang Yuochen laughed and continued. The backbone of a 4th level savage beast contains the essence of its spine. It's also called the spirit pith. It can increase a warrior's spiritual power if taken long term. He took out a 50-centimeter high jar and 2 bronze wine glasses. He placed all 3 objects on the ground at the same time. Bang! Squeezing 5 of his fingers into knives, he neatly cut the 10-meter long bones open. He poured the spirit pith out from the white bone and saved it in the jar. After putting all the spirit pith into the jar, it was half full. He poured 2 cups of spirit pith, one for Kong Xuan and one for himself. Fire Cloud Wolf was a savage beast that carried the nature of fire. Therefore, its spirit pith contained a fire nature. The spirit pith in the wine cup turned red like a burning blaze. Just holding the cups, they could feel its forceful power. Kong Xuan brought the cup to her lips and took a small sip. She felt as if she had just taken a sip of fire. Her body was boiling hot, like her meridians were burning. Zhang Yuochen lifted the cup and gulped down all the spirit pith. Shortly after, he had refined it, He quickly drank 2 more. Kong Xuan endured the burn in her body and finished what was left in her cup. Her body appeared to have turned into a stove. Her genuine qi and blood were boiling, and she was extremely energetic. There was a thin layer of red light covering her crystal clear jade white skin as if her body had been torn apart. Just as she was about to give up, Zhang Yuochen pressed his hand on her back and helped her refine the power of spirit pith. After an hour, the red glow had slowly dissipated. Zhang Yuochen led her to the secret practicing room. He took out the half-saint's sacred glyph that hung on the stone wall and said, perceiving the half-saint's sacred glyph after drinking the spirit pith is the fastest way to increase your spiritual power. Under Zhang Yuochen's instruction, Kong Xuan entered the world of the sacred glyph very quickly. Meanwhile, Zhang Yuochen sat cross-legged underneath the half-saint's sacred glyph and began to practice. The sun rose the next day. Yang Qi had returned to the earth. Zhang Yuochen put away the half-saint's sacred glyph and started practicing the sun meridian ripple. As for Kong Xuan, she sat at the base of the stone wall and cultivated sword comprehension. After an entire night of practicing spiritual power, it seemed that her spirit was unprecedentedly full. Her face had a glimmering red glow with a pressing vigor. Her skin radiated an enchanting hue. For 7 days Zhang Yuochen practiced the sun meridian ripple during the day and perceived the half-saint's sacred glyph at night. 7 days later, it was noon and the hot sun was blazing like fire. Sun meridian ripple. Zhang Yuochen squeezed his fingers so hard that his thumb became extremely hot. He blended the sword comprehension together with genuine qi. With his finger as the center, he formed a partially transparent energy circle about 33 meters in diameter. The energy circle retracted quickly and compacted onto his fingertip. He pointed his finger out. Swish! A wisp of red sword wave flew out from his left thumb. It made a loud noise and formed a strong sword path. The path stretched several hundred meters into the distance and hit the wall. Boom! The sword wave pierced through the wall, leaving a massive 2-meter wide round hole. Most of the stone wall surrounding the hole had melted. It dripped down drops of lava which transformed into a mirror-like structure when it cooled.